Thank you for staying with us. If you were watching us at the beginning of the program, I did say that this was the time to talk about the ram.
Somebody couldn't just wait.
But for crying out loud, I mean, the ram is a small part. In fact, it's not even a significant part of the happenings at all.
Oh, really?
There's more religious meaning, there's more spiritual meaning to this festival than the ram. Because for us, it's just the eating of the ram. But to the guy who has slaughtered the ram, that slaughtering of the ram has great meaning. It's significant in itself. And that's what we're going to talk about this morning. This festival is actually called Eid-el-Adha. That's the Arabic for it, even though we call it Eid-el-Kabir. And it's the feast of the sacrifice. You remember that story in the Bible? It's the very same story, the story of Abraham and his son Isaac. But in Islam, he is called Ibrahim and his son is called Isa. Ismail. Yes, where the good Lord asked him to sacrifice his only son. And just before he did it, it was just a test, the good Lord provided a ram. And the ram was what Ibrahim actually slaughtered. Now, let's examine all that with our guest, Imam Maruf Abdulaziz Onike, Chief Missioner, NASFAT. Good morning.
Good morning, viewers at home.
And thank you for joining us.
Happy Eid-el-Kabir in advance.
Same to you, sir. We also have a friend of the house, Alatoye Folonsho Aziz, Mayor at Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, Nigeria. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks.
So, for us non-Muslims, we just look forward to the ram. But to you, there is greater significance to this sacrifice because this is what we call, what in Yoruba is called the big Odun.
That's right.
So what is the significance of the big Odun? This is the big Muslim festival.
Yeah. Thanks very much. It's actually one of the biggest things that if we are able to imbibe the lesson of sacrifice as we have it, it's going to be very helpful to us as an individual, as a country, and globally. And I'm very happy with the introduction you gave in terms of the significance not being the ram. The ram is just symbolic of something. The key issue behind it is actually to sacrifice your passion. And the first element of it is obedience to Almighty Allah. And the second element of it is respect to Almighty Allah. You obey a person that you respect. And a step, after that is actually humility. You have to be very humble before you respect somebody and then before you obey that person. And this humility is also not possible if you don't have what we call righteousness or God-fearing, which is godliness. So that's the root. So what the Eid-el-Adha try to teach us is to actually obey Almighty Allah, is to respect the commandments of Almighty Allah. It's actually to remain very humble, not to carry on your own wishes, but the wishes of Allah. And then to be actually very righteous. And that's what we have at the end of it. And that is why Almighty Allah says, with respect to sacrifice, Allah accepts only the sacrifices of the righteous person, of persons who are godly, who are very mindful of the reason why they are doing that. The ram is only very symbolic of all these things that are put together.
That word godly must be one of your favorite words because you've used it quite copiously on this program before.
Very right.
Yes, let me come to Imam. Alero began the other time by telling us, of course you cleared it before we went on air, the difference between Eid-el-Adha and Eid-el-Kabir, which many people know. So what really is the difference between Eid-el-Kabir and EID-EL-KABIR.
Thank you so much for having me on your program. Before talking about the difference between the two, I need to lay the foundation because there's atheism flying in the air, and I have to reply to some questions being raised by atheists. Thank God my sister has been able to lay the foundation for this, and the story is almost the same, apart from the fact that it was Ismail that was about to be sacrificed, not Isaac in Islamic worldview. The non-Muslims, the atheists, they're asking a question that what is wrong with religion? People like Christopher Hitchens, what is wrong with religion? What kind of a religion we have a father to kill his son? What kind of a father we want to go ahead with that? Why the ritual? We need to clear this thing before we go to the differences. Allah clearly says in the Holy Quran, and that particular statement is corroborated in the Bible. In Quran chapter 22, verse 37, we said, La yanala Allahu ma wala dimauha, walakin yanalu taqwa minkum. Qul zakaraha Allahu lakum, zakaraha lakum, likabiru Allahu ala ma adakum. Wa basiril muhsinin said, neither the meat, the flesh, the blood reaches Allah. He doesn't need the meat. He doesn't need the blood. Walakin yanaluhu taqwa minkum. What reaches him, what gets to the Almighty is the piety, the sincerity. He has made animals of servant to you. Who are you to kill a ram, to hold a ram? Who are you to hold a cow? Allah in his divinity message said, I've made them subservient to you. I've subjected them to you. So, Prophet, give the glad tidings to those who believe. OC chapter 6, verse 6 in the Bible says, I don't need your sovereign. I want love. I don't need sacrifice. I just want you to know me. That's a statement that was made in Quran chapter 2, verse 37. EID-el-Fitr is the one that we do after 30 or 29 days of Ramadan. You break your fast on that day, you go to the Eid ground and you observe Salat. The only difference between this one is that this one is celebrated on the 10th of Sulhijjah, the second day after those who are going on Hajj had performed and stood on the Mount Arafah. We call it 10th of Sulhijjah, which falls on the 28th of this month. And the symbolic thing, as my brother said, but most of the things that we do in Islam, they are symbolic, they are demonstrative. Allah wouldn't have allowed Ibrahim to kill his son. Allah, and Ibrahim believed so. Because this is the same Ibrahim that was thrown into fire. Fire did not burn him. The same Ibrahim that asked Allah, Arini kefa to heal him out. Show me how you will resuscitate the dead. And Allah said, kill these 4 birds, put them on the mountain, and call them, they will come back to you. This same Ibrahim believed that because of the trust in Allah, that whatever Allah says, say as you do, I'm ready to do it. When you throw up your own child that's born by you, you throw him up, how will he react? He will smile. He knows that you will not harm me. That's the kind of trust that, because somebody, Christopher Hitchens and people like him are saying, what kind of a God will ask you to kill your son? Ibrahim knows that if Allah has asked him to do something, that could have been immoral, that could have been unethical, and that is why in Islam we say, Aslamna, we submit. He has to demonstrate by doing prostration, by putting our head on the floor, whatever he says. He was about to do it. Allah couldn't have allowed him to do it. So if you claim to love Allah, if you claim to trust Allah, if you claim, let me test you with the maximum, with the thing that you love most. Because Prophet described our children. Yes, Prophet described the children as the flower of our soul. When he lost one of his children, and they were about to bury that daughter, tears were dropping from his eyes. He was saying, you prophet, you are crying too. He said, the grave cannot recognize my daughter. Even when he lost one of the children, 2 people rallied around him, they sat around him, and they were looking at him and said, console me. I'm a human being like you. The same child that Abraham could not get until it was about 1 or something years. And Allah said, go and kill it. And that will take me to the concept of dream. Because somebody may wake up one day and say, I've dreamed that dreams are divided into 2 and 3 in Islam.
Sorry, Imam, we'll come to that. But I want to, latch on to something that you said about the essence of the season. I'm just wondering how significantly many faithful in whatever the religion is really take these things on board, because if we have sacrifice as a personal principle, as individual principles, individual ethos, how much of a challenge will we have living together?
And that is why intention is the most important thing in Islam. Actions are based on intention. If I'm rubbing my hand with water, and I'm rubbing my face with water, and I don't have intention of doing ablution, it will not be recorded for me as an ablution. If you are killing a ram without intention of trying to demonstrate the love that Prophet Ibrahim demonstrated, obedience he demonstrated, sincerity he demonstrated, you're just killing ram. It's like you have gone to Kara to kill a ram.
So it's just a party.
It's just a party. And that is what is referred to in Luke 6 chapter 6. I don't need your sacrifice. I want love. I don't need your sovereignty. I want you to know me. And the same thing is repeated in chapter 20, 37. What he wants is, if you are practicing this Islam, the way to be practiced, peaceful coexistence will not be a problem to you. Because Prophet lived, cohabited with non-Muslims. He even hosted them in his mosque. If you understand our religion, what is the objective of this religion? Jalibul Masaleh, Darhul Mafasid, promotion of benefit and removal of arms. Whatever symbolizes arms, whatever symbolizes wickedness, whatever symbolizes corruption, whatever symbolizes cruelty, even if you are quoting Quran to justify it, you are on your own. You are on your own. If you know that, oh, I'm about to kill this ram, if God, Allah said, I've made them to be subservient to you. If Allah don't make it to be subservient to me, I want to kill the father of somebody. I want to kill the mother of somebody. That feeling, that emotion. The essence of the whole thing is to evoke emotions in us. Evoke emotions in us. As you're about to kill it, there are ways you would kill it that you are going to get reward. There are ways you kill it that you're going to incur hurt on yourself. Yeah. Don't kill an animal when another animal is standing. Sharpen the knife.
Compassion.
Compassion. Sharpen the knife. Cover the face. Cover the eyes. These are the processes that you go. And when you are cutting, you must make sure that you cut the jugular. I will have shown you the video. There's a way you do it so that you won't make that thing to suffer. If somebody goes through this process, and the feeling of compassion, the feeling of sincerity, the feeling of love, the feeling of obedience, these feelings are not evoked in you. You have wasted your money.
No, Imam still hasn't answered your first question.
Okay.
About Eid-el-Kabir and Eid-el-Adha.
I said this one, the symbolic about this one is that it is observed on the 10th of Zulhijjah.
I'm talking about the name, the Kabir Adha.
Yeah, we gave it name. We are giving it big and small. There's no small festival.
Same thing.
There's no small festival. The only thing is that there are unique features. This one we kill ram, whether we don't kill ram. This one, you may not eat before you go to eat. But this one, you must eat. And the Eid-el-Fitri, you must eat before you go to eat.
That's Fitri.
Eid-Fitri. The Eid-el-Fitri.
Kabir.
Eid-el-Fitri.
Which one is Kabir?
This one, you call it Kabir. Eid-el-Adha, you call it big one. We don't attach. We don't give them size. The Eid-el-Adha, the festival of sacrifice.
Okay.
We say Odu Kekere Odunla. There's nothing Odu Kekere. There's nothing Odunla. Odu is Odu. Odu is Odu.
Well, let me come to you, sir. Some of the things, and I have heard you before. I've listened to you before. We've spoken about this before. Thanks. The concern for a good number of people would be if all that Imam has said are the tenets, the expectations, how come we still have the kind of challenges we have in societies? I'm not even talking about nation now, because societies are clusters in a nation. How come in societies all over the place, be it in Nigeria, even outside Nigeria, we still have a situation where these core tenets of compassion, of sacrifice, of sympathy are not as replete, as strongly as this season, expected to be. And we have done this over the years.
Okay, thanks very much again. You said last time when I came, I did laid emphasis on one word, which is the root of every other thing. There used to be a proverb: you are looking at a cripple, he's carrying on a load, and and he's walking like this. And so, oh, your load is bent. So, oh, you are looking up. Look at the root of it. What is the root of all these things? I try to trace back the essence of sacrifice. It's a ladder. Before you get to sacrificing and God accepting it, there are certain traits you need to have. And it's common to all of us, just as he had said. It's common to all of us. The first thing you want to sacrifice to Almighty Allah, which is this ram, the lesson is that you need to sacrifice your passion. And that's it. Before you can do that, and then you can obey Almighty Allah, just as Asrat Ibrahim obeyed Almighty Allah. Definitely, he has respect for Almighty Allah. And then again, before you can have respect, you must be humble. And before you can be humble, again, you come back to being very, very godly. You are a godly person. What that means is that you are ready to do what Allah asks us to do, and then leave what he has not asked us to do. We talk about the dream, to slaughter Asrat Ishmael, and he obeyed. Now, the confusion what you are looking at is that Allah has given us commandments that we need to obey. Don't lie. Don't steal.
Don't kill.
Don't kill. These are the commandments of Almighty Allah. In fact, there are 6 of societal order. You ask about why are we having societal order? There are 6 rules of a peaceful society in Surah Al-Nahl, chapter 16 of the Holy Quran, verse 91. Inna Allah ya'muru bil adli. God commands you to be just. Well, ihsan, and to do goodness. Wa ita izil kurba, and to give people their rights. Your kinsmen, your kindred. Give everybody their rights. These are the 3 positive commands which we have to uphold. Wa yanha anil fahsha'i wal munkari wal baghi. He preclude you from indecency, evil, and what we can call rebellion. Look at all these 6 things. These are the pillars of an excellent society. Justice. You cannot be just if you are not godly. You cannot be, a global individual if you are not godly. For you to know that we are all created by God. I've said that quite a number of times. Fighting that I'm this tribe and then that tribe are not good and this one. You are condemning the work of God. God created them. You did not also create yourself. So unless you trace all our actions to the fear of God, respect for God, and being humble, it's not going to work. And that is why it's not working in the society.
Maybe I can answer your question. He has done it very well. Maybe I can answer your question metaphorically. With the level of religiosity in Nigeria, why are we still having these challenges? And I'm going to answer metaphorically. You have a good car, brand new car, with good engine. You have a bad driver. The vehicle gets involved in an accident. Will you blame the car or the driver?
I blame the mechanic.
A brand new car.
He hasn't touched it yet.
Mechanic has not even touched it.
He has not touched it.
Everything about religion is good. It is the practitioners of religion that need to go and check themselves. Even the traditional, the other worshippers, they have some rules. To the extent that if my wife sits on this chair, as a man, you cannot sit on it. Even the other worshippers, there's no religion that doesn't condemn hypocrisy. There's no religion that doesn't condemn injustice. But what are we having? Metaphorically speaking, a good car, brand new car, that they call tear rubber, being driven by a bad driver.
So essentially, the metaphor you're using now, the religion is the car. The car, the driver is the individual. Now, isn't the religion supposed to help the person, the driver, to become a better person?
It means you need to know how to drive before you can enter it. You won't expect the car to teach you how to drive. Quran. He said, nobody can get anything except what you strive for. No, you can't get it except what you need to make effort. It's like you wanting to write an exam. You have not read for the exam, and you want to have a first class.
Let me ask you this, Imam. You wanted to talk about dream the other time. And let's try to bring, I don't know how many centuries ago, Ibrahim and Ismail had that conversation. Let's try to replicate it here. someone sleeps in contemporary Nigeria, maybe in Abuja, and had a dream, and God tells him to go and sacrifice his son.
That's the same question that Christopher Hitchens asked. And that was what I tried.
No. I'm trying to...
I've got you.
To try to replicate it. If one would have that kind of experience with God, with his creator, do you think it will be significant today?
That is why you need to know you understand some of the concepts from the Islamic perspective. Dreams are divided into three in Islam. The one from Allah, the one from Satan, the one from your own mind. The one from Allah, those are the ones that are usually dreamed by the prophet. Their dreams are revelation. The one from Satan can frighten you.
How do you then know which is which?
I'm coming. Let me land. The third one is the kind of thought you have before you sleep. If you put on an agbada before you sleep, definitely you will dream of driving an Okada, a motorcycle. If you drink Gari before you sleep, definitely you will dream of getting drunk. Number, when you have a good dream, there are 4 things you do. Don't say it to anybody. When you have a good dream, say it to your loved one. When you have a bad dream, don't say it to anybody. And you speak onto the left-hand side because Satans always want to frighten you. How many people have been told that those behind their misfortunes are their mothers?
Yes.
It is Satan doing the work. That is why a Muslim needs to know the 3 types of dream. And when you wake up, it's a bad dream, don't tell anybody. You stand up, there are things you do. You call it Ayatul Kursiyu, Berabi Falaki, Berabi Nas. You recite it, and you do like this. That thing will not come to pass. We tell them in Nasrul Alifat, in Nasfat. If anybody comes to you and says, I've seen a vision, I'm going to have an accident, quickly return it. I saw the same vision with you. I dreamt that you have an accident too. Because that thing with them, if you allow them to be seeing vision for you, to be dreaming about you, then when you immediately you stand up, and that is why this religion is very deep in terms of education. It is when you understand the difference between. Now, I wanted to talk about the concept of dream in Islam. When you wake up, especially when you sleep with your left-hand side, you are likely to have a bad dream. Go and try it. When you are frightened your dream, when you wake up, don't tell anybody it's a bad dream, and it will not come to pass. But if you tell anybody, I'm talking from the scripture. Because this religion is a way of life. Does not that it's not discussed. If you claim to have dreamt, like Ibrahim dreamt, that you have killed your son, you need to differentiate. You need to know. You can even go to a scholar. I have this dream. If it's a good dream, tell it to others. It's a bad dream. Say, I want to be regime. I seek refuge from Allah against our cause Satan. If it is something that Allah wants to come to pass, it will come to pass. You can easily differentiate in Islam. And that's why we don't have Christians here. We don't have those who give prophecies. But immediately you come with a prophecy, we tell you, where did you see that one from? So me your heart to go so the king. Give me the evidence. If you can't see somebody see visions in it.
The one you spoke about, I'm sure the guy who dreamt this kind of dream in Abuja will wake up and say, it's only a dream.
Because I mean, even tell you everybody has a
it's
dream
only a
now,
dream.
which is commandment from Allah to each and every one of us. Everything that happens to us on a daily basis.
But we can't know that it's from him.
What I'm saying is that, we have things that Allah has given us to do. The principles remain the same. The principles, which is obedience to Allah, remains the same. And the principle of obedience to do good remains the same. Just as he said. Whatever you strive for in goodness is what you are going to get. So in terms of goodness that you need to do. So as we have it now, there are a lot of evils that people are thinking. If they are able to control their passion to do that evil, then it means they are obeying Almighty Allah in the recent days. So if they go ahead to do that evil, it means they are disobedient to Almighty Allah. What Allah has asked them to do is not what they are doing. That is the application of that. It will be, wrong to say, it's only about ram, just as we started the other time. No, it's about passion. For somebody now that Allah has said, okay, you are supposed to do something good, but your mind is telling you do something differently. That is the kind of instruction that was given in the earlier days that we need to know now. Allah has put the resources of people in care of some leaders, and they are using maybe law in one way or the other to manipulate and get it to themselves. They have failed. Because that's not an act of goodness.
Let me ask you this. When you talk about leaders now, Ibrahim was a leader.
Correct.
And he got that instruction.
Message, very clear.
Straight from his creator.
That's right.
Go and do something.
That's right.
Supposing it's one leader, either at the federal level or at the state level in Nigeria, that has that kind of inspiration or dream or instruction from his creator, do you see him carrying it out?
That is what they are not doing even right now. Because everybody, the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had said it. Every leader is going to be held accountable. And everybody that is appointed to lead in an area is a leader and is going to be held accountable. For instance, Allah has instructed leaders to take care of the subject. For example, we saw from the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam the way he related with people. He did mention it in his mosque. Christian came there and then they worship. No quarrel, no fight. Talk less of killing. No. Once you remain very peaceful, there is no challenges. Right now, Almighty Allah has given instruction to the leaders to take care of the led. But that's not what we're having. So it means they are not obeying Almighty Allah. That is the context within which we have to look at it. For instance, I mean, he's a leader, I'm a leader of the Jamaat. I'm working, for the Jamaat. But I know when I look at our economic situation generally, we're not being paid for it. And I will say that a leader in Nigeria, for example, you say you are getting fantastic pay, in which the country is not running well. How should that work? If I were you, I would suggest that everybody should work for the country and sacrifice without any salary, no allowances, based on our situation. I mentioned it last time. The revenue, both oil and non-oil, we are expecting is 3.5 trillion. And the interest alone is 3.3 trillion. About 94% is already gone. So we don't have any resources to even run the country. So if I'm a leader, I would say, please, don't let us take any payment from these resources, because we still have to take care of the whole masses. Although it is even wrong of us, we haven't talked very well. We haven't applied even our intelligence in going for loan, interest loan, to the extent that we are putting the resources of the whole masses on interest, which Almighty Allah condemns, and the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam also condemns it. So leaders are now plunging us into war.
Is this unknown to the leaders? Because I mean,
I have the honest belief that it is known to them, but they are disobedient. That's all.
Let me answer. There are two questions that I want to answer. I want to corroborate what you have said. You said, do I know that I have a good dream or a bad dream? This is a religion that is about everything that you do in your life. Before you sleep, there are prayers you do. There are a posture in which you sleep. In Islam, everything we do is prescribed in the scripture. Even up to the point of wanting to wear your shoes. That is how detailed this religion is. After you have done all the prayers that Prophet says you should do before you sleep, and you sleep on the right-hand side, you know that, okay, it's not just an ordinary dream. You will take it serious because you have played your own part. Now, your second question, that if a leader to have this kind of dream now, would they do it? When Ibrahim dreamt, what did he do? Quran chapter 37, verse 102. فَلَمَا بَلَغَ مَعَهُ سَعْيًا قَالَ يَا بُنَيَّ إِنِّي أَرَىٰ فِي الْمَنَامِ أَنِّي أَذْبَحُكَ فَانظُرْ مَاذَا تَرَىٰ قَالَ يَا أَبَتِ افْعَلْ مَا تُؤْمَرُ سَتَجِدُنِي إِن شَاءَ اللَّهُ مِنَ الصَّابِرِينَ. Quran 37, 102. After dreaming, he went to the sun. He said, إِنِّي أَرَىٰ فِي الْمَنَامِ, I saw in my dream that أَنِّي أَذْبَحُكَ, I'm slaughtering you. فَانظُرْ مَاذَا تَرَىٰ, come and see what I've seen, my son. That is teaching us consultation. He didn't just wake up one day and say, I've dreamt, my son, let me go and slaughter you.
I'm trying to imagine, I'm trying to picture it now. I dream and I wake up and tell my son.
I'm coming.
And he doesn't disappear.
Let me land. He will not disappear because there are two things we learn there. First, from consultation. Number two, Ibrahim wanted to confirm whether his prayer for good son was answered by Allah. In 37:100, he said, Robi Abulimin and Soli, oh Allah, grant me a righteous son. Because he has got a righteous son, the answer that the boy gives is that, if Alimatu Maru, you are not known for flippancy. Do whatever you have been commanded
as
to
God
do.
wishes.
Because he has prayed for a righteous son. I wanted to confirm, that is confirming 37:100, when he was praying for for a child. And that is the kind of lesson that we will learn from that. When you are praying for a child, be specific. Now say, let me talk to this son, my son, that I've dreamed that some people will run away, but this one knows that, I trust my father. He said, I trust my, and that is why I thank Nigeria.
Run away is a small word, though.
Let me tell you, I thank the Nigerian Broadcasting Commission for yanking off an advert. There was an advert about 3-4 years ago. One small boy was on top of the roof. The father was asking him to jump down. The boy was saying, I don't want to jump down, I don't want to jump down. Eventually, the boy jumped down. I got wounded. The father said, I just want to teach you that don't trust anybody. If your son cannot trust you,
then you got a problem.
You have got a problem. Because Ismail trusted his father. He said, do, and it shows that prayer of Ibrahim was answered. Because he prayed for a good son. He said, do whatever your God has commanded you to do. You will find me among those who are patient.
If I can contribute to the issue of vision and dreams and dreams and dreams, yes. And we are asking whether there are dreams or not. We have Vision 2010 in Nigeria. We have Vision 2020. These visions are expiring. Yeah. So which ones have we done?
Now, Alhaji, more and more, Nigeria is becoming a very religious country. We are seeing more mosques. We are seeing more churches. And yet we are where we are.
I've answered the question.
We seem to be more wicked than ever before.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was in school, in secondary school, in the 60s, Muslims, Christians, pagans, you didn't even discuss it. Right. It wasn't a basis for your friendship or anything.
That's right.
You were kinsmen and you looked out for each other. But before you do anything with anybody now, where are you from in Nigeria? What tribe are you?
That's right.
Are you Christian or Muslim? How come all those things now matter to us that didn't matter before?
Thanks for that question. You see, the challenge we are having is that we are moving away from the fundamentals. And that is why always I try to draw attention to it. Not that I will not go applied. But before you can apply, you need to look at the fundamentals. And when evil starts, very small, and we are not stopping that evil, it's going to be bigger. It's going to be getting bigger and bigger. We are failing to realize that we are only one mankind worldwide and even nationwide. That is where we are getting it wrong. And you have 3 categories of people. You have people who are very selfish, they only know of themselves. You have tribalists, those who are only their tribe, and then you have citizens. You are citizens of the world. You see, so we are all brothers and the same. So we need to, teach ourselves that we are citizens belonging to God, to the same God, irrespective of our tribe. Our tribe is just to live for our color, our race, whatever. It's just to distinguish us and make us different so that we won't be confusing ourselves. Otherwise, we will have looked all alike. So if we know that is the reason why Allah made us tribe and made us different, colors, then we will go back to that basic, that teachings that binds us together as against, we dividing ourselves. Okay. And the number of mosques, the number of churches, the number of religious centers is not going to address the knowledge about unity of mankind unless we are always constantly drawing our attention to that word that, look, we are from only one creator. And this creator, forbid all evils and want us to do good. So until we keep on reminding ourselves that, then we will keep on, working in a different direction.
In addition, you are getting this because of the manipulative tendencies of our leaders. Have you bothered to ask whether they discuss tribalism, religion when they're stealing our money? Have you watched them in the assembly? Have they ever discussed the issue of, I don't want to listen to you, you are a Christian? When they're about to steal our money, it's all smoke.
When they're dividing Ghana must go.
Yeah, it's just smoke, screen. The citizens will need to come back to their senses. If people are pitching you against each other, they are doing it for selfish reasons.
Okay, so
back to your question, ask them, do they discuss religion? Do they discuss tribalism? Do they discuss ethnicity when they want to exploit you?
Okay, we're running off time, Imam.
No.
So let me ask you
in closing,
as we close. What would you be telling the viewer, the worshipper now, especially in the light of all that we have discussed concerning EID-EL-KABIR? The core thing there is sacrifice.
Yeah.
Taking it on board when people don't seem to have enough on their own, that's quite a challenge. What would you want to tell them?
What I want to tell everybody is that we must be our brother's keepers. That will you live Nigeria better than the way you have met it? All of us become histories. We are going to be part of history. How will they remember you by the time you have gone? Don't say, oh, everything is about our leader. Anyone as a leader. We get the kind of leaders that we deserve.
Okay. You want to quickly close on that same issue?
Yes, thanks very much. Kulukun ro'in, wa kulukun mas'ulu an ro'iyati. Everybody is a leader, and Allah will hold us accountable for our actions. This concept of sacrifice has actually reminded us again of the need for us to always obey Almighty Allah in all we do. Okay. Always to respect Allah in what we do, be very humble, and then always we are very righteous in what we do. I know that we are accountable. Thanks.
How do you want to be remembered when you have gone? I think that is very deep, and that's a place to leave it for today.
What would they say about you?
Thank you very much, Imam Maruf Abdulaziz Onike, Chief Missioner NASFAT, as well as Alatoye Folonsho Aziz, Amir Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, Nigeria. Thank you very much for coming.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
EID-EL-KABIR to all.
In advance.
In advance.
Barka de Salah.
Barka de Salah. You are not giving us rams.